I'm talking to Amanda Jones. I'm at her farm, Doco Farms in Blythewood, South Carolina. And Amanda, y'all have decided to specialize in heritage breeds, I think. How did that come about?
That's right. Well, before we moved back to start the farm, I was originally a field biologist. And so it turns out that hogs are just like land seals and poultry is kind of like a marine bird, and it just transferred really naturally. When we first moved back and opened in 2007 and we opened the farm in 2009, we tried a little bit of everything. We were growing fresh cut flowers, herbs, veggies. We had some fruit, we had eggs from our chicken, and we quickly learned that we couldn't be all things for all people, and we narrowed down the scope of our farm to what we do best, and that turned out to be heritage breeds on pasture.
And if I can explain for a minute that you and your husband met in California, you were from California, and but this farm was actually a family farm for him. So can we go back to how he's kind of a heritage breed himself?
Yeah, so the original part of the farmhouse and the farm by extension was built by my husband Joe's great-great-grandfather. And every generation of our family since then has lived at least part of their life in the farmhouse. Our children are the 6th generation to call this home. And almost every generation has farmed here as well. It skipped a generation with his parents.
This wasn't ever a farm where you had row crops. We're near Cedar Creek, and it's hilly and heavily forested, and so there's not a lot of just flat arable land. And so did that make it better for you to make some of the choices that you did about making it a place for animals rather than just crops in the ground?
Definitely. We do have a small annual garden, and that's about the only flat, mostly at this point after 5, 6 generations, rock-free area. We do have a lot of field rocks as well. In fact, the foundation of our house is field rocks from the farm. But again, we were looking for a source of sustainably and humanely raised meat for our family, and we weren't really able to find that at the time. And so we decided that if that's something that we wanted to have in our diet, we would do that ourselves.
There's a lot of crowing and blah, 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 blah going on around here. So let's start with the chickens and turkeys, can we?
Absolutely. So we raise Buckeye Heritage chickens. They're a dual breed of chicken, dual purpose breed, which means we're raising them for both meat and eggs. With the heritage breeds, and this is true for all the breeds, they are bred for a long, productive outdoor life. So they're on pasture, our chickens are on pasture for 16 weeks or more, which is more than double sometimes that of a Cornish cross.
Your son decided that he wanted a little sideline, so let's talk about his chickens.
He did. He brought another breed of chicken onto the farm. He has Americanas, which lay a really pretty blue and sometimes green tinted egg. And so our egg CSA customers get a really beautiful variation of color in their egg cartons each week.
And at Thanksgiving, y'all have people who sign up way in advance for a heritage turkey, I believe. Let's hear about that bird.
That's right. So we raise Narragansett heritage turkeys. The original stock for that is a cross between a black Spanish and a wild turkey. So they're able to run, fly, forage for up to 60% of their diet, and they live for 28 weeks on our pasture, ready just in the nick of time for Thanksgiving. And again, with that long sustained growth, you get amazing depth of flavor.
With these small chickens and turkeys out, you need some protection because we know they have coyotes around. Mm-hmm. And I believe you have some special dogs that help you keep the animals safe.
We do. We have Great Pyrenees Livestock Guardian dogs. We mistimed a little bit starting our next group of security dogs, and our older dogs aged out before this next group was quite ready. So we do have a 3-year-old working dog on pasture. He's great with poultry. He watches the skies for hawks and black vultures. And then behind me here we have Tonks, who is a year old and is still working through some of her puppy issues, but she'll get there.
The dogs also help protect some of the other animals. You've got some sheep here that are an unusual sheep, at least to me.
Right, so we raise St. Croix heritage sheep. They're a hair variety of sheep, which means they naturally shed their winter coats in the spring. When sheep were domesticated, they were selected either for wool production or meat production, and these were specifically selected for their sweet, mild-flavored meat. And like their name suggests, the original breeding stock came to this country from St. Croix, which, like South Carolina, is a hot, humid environment. So they're well adapted to our climate, and they also have a higher level of parasite resistance, which helps as well here in South Carolina.
You also have a type of heritage hog or pig. What can you tell me about them?
So we raise guinea hogs, which were the homesteading hog in the Southeast. They're a small, black, lard type of pig. That black coat and skin really helps them with sun protection, though we do run ours mostly in the woods, some fenced areas of woods we have, and also they help with some privet, knocking back some invasive privet that we have here on the farm. They're known for their leaf lard, their leaf fat, which is prized by pastry chefs. And they also have a well-marbled, again, those lard qualities, dark red meat. So this isn't the other white meat from the pork commercials of our youth.
You've told us that there's not a lot of land for your vegetable garden, although you do work hard on that. But so you've decided to find a way to use some of the trees and garden under them.
Right, so we do have a little bit of an edible forest garden that we've started here at the farm. Our land naturally wants to be a forest, so instead of fighting that, we're working with it, and we have an overstory of pecan and nut trees with an understory of some native fruits like pawpaws and persimmons, and also perennial vegetables. We have sorrel growing there, as well as some pollinator plants for our native pollinators and some medicinal herbs as well.
I think everyone now is getting involved in community-supported agriculture and trying to help spread that story. And y'all have some days when people are invited to the farm when you provide educational opportunities. Can you tell me about those, please?
Absolutely. So we do 3 free community events throughout the year. We host a spring farm fest with a farmer Olympics. It's a chance for people to come together and compete for prizes and to be crowned our Farm Olympic champions for the year. We also, with the Farm Spring Fest, have farmer-led guided tours of Doko Farm, as well as some farmer-led workshops. We invite other small, local, sustainable farms to join us, and that's really just a way for us to celebrate a new growing season and bring everyone together. In the summer, we are one of the Richland County Ag and Art Tour stops. The Ag and Art Tour is a multi-weekend, multi-stop farm tour. And that's a time when artisans come out to the farm and bring all their beautiful creations. It brings a very diverse and fun mix of people out to our farm. For that event, we host our locally famous chicken races, which is just more farm shenanigans that we can get into. And then our third event is our harvest market, where again, we invite others out to our farm to tour the farm, but also pick up everything they need for their holidays.
And I think that there's an active group of farm kids, you said, and your kids have picked up a skill that they can show off as their art form, I believe.
They do. So they have a few different skill sets, but the one that they like to do at Spring Farm Fest is balloon art. So they've been working on their balloon bunnies. They also do some pretty good poodles and cats and hats.
I think it's wonderful that you're finding a way to keep this family property in agriculture. And as you said, it's like a conservation spot going all the way down to the creek. And also, you're able to continue the sustainability that has always been a part of farming here. I want to thank you for letting us come and tell your story today.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.